to put those in the ground. Okay, this is a 4-piece set, and you'll notice that these can all, everything that we've seen this morning, they can all work together just to give you the most color and beauty in your garden. This is a 4-piece set. These are perennials, and I want you to walk us through these.
Okay, so the first one here, so we have 4 colors. This is the Coreopsis. Then we have a Shasta daisy, we have Gaura, and then we have the hummingbird mint that we already talked about. So this is the same plant that was in the other group, the purple one. Which is, again, how these can all tie together. We've kind of taken the design out of your hands. If I know a lot of people can really start, I teach planting design, so I know people get really panicky of like, how do I put plants together? And what we've done is we've really answered that for you. So what you have here is a real variation in color. So you have a lot of color. And then you also have a real variation in texture. So you have, you know, plants with smaller leaves. You've got these ones with like almost fern-like leaves. That one has a lot of fragrance. This one has these much more glaucous and sort of thick leaves. So that depth of texture really is kind of what will also, I mean, it's not the thing you first notice. Of course, you notice all these big, beautiful flowers, but that texture is something you're gonna notice in your garden just to kind of give you more interest. And it's that designer look. The designer look is what we want to give you with ease, So anyway, all of these plants are very adapted to sunny locations. That's what they're gonna want. They want sun, and they're also very good for dry conditions. They're not high maintenance plants. You do need to, you know, make sure they get water, but they're gonna like having some heat and not being too baby too much.
Good. I know a lot of people are saying good because we love our garden, but if it's not something that you want to dedicate yourself to every day, it's good to know that you don't have to.
So the other thing about this is these are all, so we call them day neutral, which means that they'll bloom all season. So a lot of earlier varieties of almost every one of these, the plants would bloom and then that would be the end. It would bloom once and then that would be the end of the season. So all of these have been bred to bloom for a much longer season. So again, that's really what we're looking for with all the leaf and petal plants is that real long season. So you get the color from beginning to end and you don't have to worry about replanting so much. Also you get, we like to say, I think I said this before with the annuals, you know, traditionally annuals are what we plant to get a lot of color. So we go out and we spend the money on plants, and they're just, they're like throwaways at the end of the season, but they are real wow factor. Whereas perennials tend to not give you as much color, just historically. But that's what is different about these. We have sourced these plants, and the breeders have evolved them to a point where you're getting that annual color in a perennial. They're just real workhorses, and so then you don't have to worry about replanting it again next year. You're gonna have this same plant come back year in and year out, giving you that annual color in a perennial plant.
And you can see them up close. Look at how pretty these are gonna be.
They're really pretty.
You're not choosing, you're getting all 4.
You get all 4.
How big do they get?
So this is all, so the size you see here, so basically you're gonna get these littler pots when they arrive, and they'll all be labeled. They do look different.
They're so cute.
But they're, yeah, I know. But, just in case you're confused, they'll be labeled. But then they will get to this size that you see here, which is all of them, somewhere between 18 inches to 2 feet tall. And wide, and they should get to that in the first season. So that will be their continuing size. That is how they will continue to be year in and year out.
And I know, again, when you're thinking about where you're gonna put them, that just gives you some idea. Would I get this home, would I plant them all together, or should I like spread them out in different areas?
It's totally up to you, but I would plant them together.
I like them together.
And I would, honestly, I like to plant things in 3s. So, and when I say 3s, I mean 3 of the same thing. Because in the landscape, this is a big, beautiful plant. This is a big, beautiful plant. But if you imagine 3 of these, then you really, like, if you're looking across your yard, you're gonna really see that. So sometimes you need that extra oomph to really make, something stand out in such a big thing like a landscape. So you can plant them all together, but if I were you, I would actually get a few different sets, or maybe the butterfly bush, and then you'd have a few of those, or, I'm sorry, the hummingbird mint.
Yeah.
You would have a few extras of those and really clump them together. Give them that 18 inches or so space between them. And yeah, they'll grow together beautifully. They'll look kind of just like this on the table here.
And remember, these are not for, you know, you don't have to be an expert gardener in order to be able to get these in the ground and make them grow. These have been, as you were saying, bred to be hardier, to be a little bit tougher than maybe what you would find in your big box store. And what I like too is that there's variety, because I find around my neighborhood, we all go to the same, store. So everybody's yard looks exactly the same.
Yes, and yeah, these are not really precious plants in the sense that they're uncommon, but these are slightly uncommon varieties. You aren't going to find these in the big box stores. These are varieties that are going to give you that extra oomph, that extra wow factor. Some of the colors, like with the hummingbird mint, some of those colors are not colors that you can find very easily. So with this, the Shasta daisy, this Shasta daisy is one of the largest, the blooms on them are amongst the largest of the variety. If you go to your box store, you are going to find a Shasta daisy. You probably are going to find a Shasta daisy, but its flowers are not going to be this big, and it is not going to probably be the variety that blooms all season. It will be one of those ones that just blooms and is done, or maybe it'll be one that has it's called a rebloomer. So it'll bloom, it'll die, you know, you cut it back and then it'll bloom again. But if you want the one that blooms all season, this is the way to go.
And remember, and these also have a 1-year warranty on them.
All of these do. All of these have the 1-year warranty.
So when you get your information, it's going to come with that growing guide, and all of the information to contact Leaf and Petal is going to be right in there. So if you have questions, if something's not going right, maybe one of them just isn't flourishing in the way that you thought it should or would, you've got your contact right there. So you're not by yourself.
No.
And I love that.
Even if it's not like dead, I mean, it's not going to happen. But even if it's struggling or whatever, call us, because we have horticulturists who are ready to talk to you and ready to say and ask you the right questions and get their heads around what's going on with this plant. I mean, maybe you could save it, maybe, you know, whatever, and help you out. So we're there with lots of good advice.
Yeah, we'll blame ourselves. Did I not do it right? I knew I wasn't a great gardener. You don't have to be a professional. Go ahead and just pick them up because you love them, because they're beautiful. And here's a quick reminder of how they're gonna look when you get them. And then we're also gonna show you the shipping zone. So what you're doing is reserving yours today, and then you won't be charged until it ships, and it'll ship at the appropriate time for you to plant it in the ground. And I think that is, again, that just gives you a leg up on knowing that it's going to be right for you. So there's that shipping zone as well. Rochelle, thank you.
Thank you.
These are beautiful, and we'll see you back at 11 a.m.
Yes, thanks.
We'll see you back there, and you can keep shopping for yours. And remember, you can get the hummingbird